this is happening globally. No? This is not just national, but you're all out there. You create a very strong thread that connects you back to the Philippines, and that really matters a lot.
Okay, Architect Royal, naka-live na tayo. So, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, lalo na po sa ating mga OFWs around the world. Good evening sa inyo dyan. Good morning, magandang tanghali, or ano bang oras sa inyo dyan, at lalo na po sa Pilipinas, sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Ito po si King Belimac. Naka-live po ako dito sa Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Ito po ang inyong chairman sa OFW Helpline at ang spokesperson ng People's Alliance for Clean Election in the Philippines. Kasama ko po ngayon si Judge Janet Panaligan sa United Kingdom, and kasama din po natin ang ating special guest ngayon na nominee natin na one of the famous na masasabi nating modern architecture na isa sa brain ng modern architecture ngayon sa Pilipinas na talagang nag-excel talaga, and yan po si Architect Royal Christopher Pineda. So Sis Janet, can you say something? Greeting galing dyan sa London.
Yes, good morning galing sa London, UK. Ito po si Janet Panaligan in behalf of PACE-PH, People's Alliance for Clean Elections in the Philippines. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat, saan man kayo ngayon sa mundo. And we are here sa ating preparation po para sa ating celebration for Bagong Bayani. This is a celebration actually, National Heroes Day natin. Ngayong coming August 31. Itong araw ng mga bayani, and we are looking for Filipinos all around the world sa loob at labas ng bansa na magbigyan natin ng parangal. Itong parangal na Global Dakilang Inang Bayan Awardee. At ito nga ang ating guest ngayon na si Architect Royal Pineda. Isa sa mga napili natin na bibigyan natin ng recognition na ito because he truly deserves it, and we want to know more about him. And yes, he is here with us, and we are so honored for that. Thank you, Architect Royal Pineda.
Well, thank you too. No? Thank you so much, King and Janet, and to all the viewers and the members of the organization. And to all the Filipinos, maraming salamat at nandito kayo. At ako'y lubos na nagpapasalamat dahil this is really something that we, as you know, as an architect and a designer, I really try to find my way and make my skill and my profession my tool to help improve our country. You know? So I think this is just one of my simple contributions that I can do and share to the Filipinos. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Architect Royal. No, so yan yung opening message ng ating panauhin ngayong araw na to. So siguro hindi natin pwedeng patagalin pa na makilala itong ating I would say bagong bayani, itong dakilang bayani natin ngayon na si Architect Royal Pineda. And Architect Royal, ang una ko pong tanong, dahil ito po yung gusto nilang itanong sa iyo ng lahat ng ating mga followers and mga members ng organization, paano si Architect Royal Pineda naging successful, umabot sa ganitong level ngayon, but we want to know more kung paano ka po nagsimula.
Yeah, very
Yeah, well, I have a very simple and I would say grounded background. No? I am a product of a government education. No? My parents are both educators, both public teachers. No? I studied in Pasig, which is a government or public school during my elementary I was also in, during those times, my high school days, it was the biggest in the Guinness Book of Record, the biggest population of high school in the world.
In Guinness Book Record?
It was in the Guinness Book of Records. So we used to have class under the tree, because of the population. Our graduation day needed to be 3 days by batches, because of the huge population. But even during those times, having classes under the tree was already a luxury to me because I love nature. That was already exciting. Of course, when it rains, there's no classes. So, but it's nice to always have myself under a shade, of a tree, a beautiful tree. I'm also a product of, during my college days, I'm a product of Polytechnic University of the Philippines, which is PUP. So I'm from the very, very, I would say, normal, and I would say the mass. And that I think is a great background for me, where now I'm doing a very luxurious, when I say luxurious, Buji Royal, as our design firm, is more on a high end. We cater to the high end. But I think my background gave me so much to know and approach luxury. And that is why I have dreamt of this, that even though we are a luxury brand for architecture and design, I believe that the Philippines and the Filipinos can already live in luxury today. I don't believe that the Filipinos should wait for us to be first world. But I believe through architecture and design, with our creativity and every Filipino's creativity, you can live with quality as long as you design something practical, something that works for the Filipinos. I think that is something that we can all have. And having this from my roots, as very much of my background, I just enjoyed what I do, and I think I never really dreamt of being able to do the design for the entire country, which is the Luz Biminda. I never thought that I would be able to design a city, which is Clark, and do all these big airports. But one thing that I really had a very clear perspective from the beginning is I wanted a modern Philippines. I wanted a better Philippines. It's always been in my dream. It's always been in my thoughts. And when the opportunity came that I needed to help the government, I couldn't really just sit down and sit back and not do anything. I needed to engage into the problems, and there I started helping and defining more of the modern Philippines, not just in the private sector, but also in the public side also.
Yan, wow, what a story. Napaka-inspiring po ng story ninyo, at sana malaman ito ng buong mundo, ng mga Pilipino, na mayroon tayong mga kababayan na katulad ninyo po, na talagang driven po talaga by passion, yung driven by purpose, driven by your dream po. Talagang once you have those, yung mayroon kang dream, sinasabi mo, mayroon kang passion, yung love mo talagang nandiyan, at saka yung purpose. And I believe po na hindi lang because you have an educator parents, I think it is born sa iyo, at because mayroon kang calling. I think you are, I will always say this, his calling sa buhay mo, and in this generation you are called for that.
Yes. I believe in that, Janet. I believe in purpose. I believe in meaning, and I believe this is my purpose and my meaning. I am not here to live my life alone. I am here to collaborate with the world. I am here to make things better for our countrymen. I don't need to be a politician. I don't need to be part of something like in the government literally.
Yeah.
But I believe that with my passion with architecture and design and with my creativity, I can help the country and our people to achieve modern Philippines. And I always say modern Philippines, Janet, because for me, modernity is not a style. No, I would like everybody to understand that it's not a look, it's not a design or a look. But when I present and when I dream of modern Philippines, I talk about a mindset. I want all the Filipinos to have a modern mind, which is a better mind. Modernity is betterment for me, no? And every time I say modern Philippines, it should be better Philippines, no? And I think this will constantly make us all Filipinos try to achieve what is better. And I always try to give this a very, very simple example that, you know, when we talk about Janet King, about Filipino time, di ba? Lagi pag sinabing Filipino time, it's late, no?
Yes.
That I don't agree, no? And I have to break that in my mind as a mindset. I have to get out of that bondage, no? And when you acknowledge and you embrace that you are a modern Filipino, once you say you're modern Philippines, your time, when you say it's a modern time, modern Filipino time, a modern Filipino time cannot be later than the prescribed time, correct? It should be earlier or at least on time. So that's what I'm trying to say, that the modern Philippines is something that the Filipinos can have right away. Even after we talk, you can say and we can all say that I am a modern Filipino, I am a better Filipino, and we don't have to wait for us to be first world to claim that we are better people. So purpose-wise, definitely, Janet, again, I think it's beyond me. It's beyond my architecture. It's more of the future and for the generations to come, that this concept and this mindset of modern Philippines and the modern Filipino is something that will evolve. No? It's not limited to my time. It's not limited to our time. But a person, a Filipino who embraces it in the coming years or in the future will constantly make the Philippines evolve and make things better. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm very, very optimistic about that.
We are so excited.
Architect Royal, salamat doon sa unang bugso ng ating tanong, and talagang makita natin na ang sagot ni Architect Royal, parang masasabi natin it's really from the heart, and kahit ako dito sa kahit dito sa virtual lang tayo, sa online lang tayo, mafe-feel mo yung sincere na sagot. And one thing dito sa ang kaibahan nito, Architect Royal, itong Global Inang Bayan Bayani Award, usually itong mga awarding na mga prestigious global awards, they always talk on success. They always talk on positive side ng isang tao. But ang gusto ko lang ipakita dito sa buong mundo na itong awarding na to, itong isang project ng PACE PH, we will not just talk about success of sa mga tao, but pag-usapan din natin. Kaya ang susunod ko na tanong sa iyo, gusto naming malaman kung ano ang the biggest na yung would say biggest failure ni Architect Royal Pineda, pero nakaya mo siya, then ikaw na yan siya ngayon na naging successful. Dahil marami kasing mga awarding na success lang ang nalaman niya, pero itong platform namin, or I would say itong programa namin na binibigay namin mostly sa mga karapat-dapat talaga ng mga Pilipino, mga katulong, mga mga gardener or kahit basurero ka, itong platform na to, itong programa na ito. So gusto naming malaman yun why Architect Royal na yun nga naintindihan ko rin na kung meron kang modern mind, ito din yung modern way of choosing a hero in a very would say in a very simple way sa mga simpleng sektor ng ating bayan. So yes, balik ko yung tanong sa iyo Architect Royal.
Well, if I will give you, I would like to give you two examples of my challenges. No, I would say challenges. First, I think the first challenge is my foundation. No, when I say challenge of my foundation, I mean I am from a public school system. No? So as I said, I've studied under the tree. We didn't have classrooms. No. I studied in PUP, which is again a government university, a public university, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but what was nice is that I saw the reality of life, no, in this kind of setup. No? I was not buffered by wealth. I just had enough. I mean, enough and provision. Enough for me to go to school, enough for me to pass my class because I have enough money to buy for the projects, and that wasn't really that easy. Architecture can be expensive, you know. The course can be expensive, but I think what was nice in that challenge was I learned it from the bottom, no. And I think this is where I got my inspiration, and now I actually coined it. I call it practical luxury. This is a concept. Yes, this is a concept that I created for the Filipinos. No, why did I create this? Because as I said a while ago, if I've been dreaming of being better, I need to elevate the minds of the Filipinos that we can have it.
Yes.
And we deserve it, you know. And it should be realistic. And when I was thinking of my roots, no, I am not a Harvard graduate, no. When I was in Taipei, when I presented the design of the country, because there was an exhibit, and this was an exhibit of different nations presenting designs of cities. But then when I was asked by the government, I said, I don't want to design a city. I want to design the country. So I presented the design for the Philippines, and when I featured it in Taipei, you know, a Chinese American came to me and said, by the way, are you a graduate of Harvard? I said, no, I'm a graduate of Polytechnic University of the Philippines. And then he said, oh, because these visions, like that what you're presenting, is like a vision that a Harvard student or a graduate would do. Okay? So when he said that, I said to him, but you know, Filipinos, we also dream this way. You know, we also vision things this way. But that's what I'm saying, you know, and this is, again, a declaration and an announcement that regardless of your background, if you have something that you really are passionate about and you dream for it, and you can do what you should do, you know. And who would think that I can design a country, I can design a city? I never dreamt of that. I mean, I only dreamt of a better Philippines. I didn't expect that I will be doing it myself and dreaming of it myself. So that was one of my biggest challenge. But again, there's proof that, again, everybody who's there, out there, please don't limit yourself, because there is no limitation. There is such opportunities for everyone. Now, on my second challenge, on a bigger scale, when I say bigger scale, there in the NAIA design, when we were doing the NAIA, when we submitted a pro bono or a free design to help the country because they asked us to help during the past administration. They asked us to help and we helped. We came up with the design, and then, you know, when politics kicks in, you know, a lot of people with different ambitions and different agendas will come in. And during that time, we were dreaming to help the country, and then somebody or a group of people came with to put malice in the design or to put malice in the intention. But then, you know, we felt vindicated because after the long battle, people know what is true and what is real. That we were just trying to help in the creation of the modern Philippines. And you know, that exact scenario, that very scenario, brought us to doing all these big projects with the government. That was actually needed. It's like it is part of the whole plan and purpose, Janet, as you mentioned. It is part of the whole purpose that we needed to be put in the furnace, to be out of that furnace and be a very sharp sword to perform our purpose. No? And after that NAIA 1 controversial project, you know, we were vindicated. We started to do more airports. We started to do the Cebu airport, the Clark airport, and more government projects. Because I believe that people will know and people will sense the truthfulness of your and the sincerity of your intention. So again, we did it for free because we just wanted to help. But then people will always put color and but don't worry about that. I would like to share this to everyone. Don't worry about people creating issues or whatever. Just keep dreaming of what is good, what is right, and God will always guide you.
Wow, thank you for that, Architect Royal. Alam ko, if we search your company online, ang dami na makikitang magaganda, and we will be so amazed and so inspiring na ganyan pala, mayroon palang ganitong kaganda, magiging yung mayroon palang vision na ganito maging maganda ang Pilipinas. And I've seen the falling water, napakaganda po noon. And yeah, guys, if you want to search, ano po yung ating website po ng company natin if they want to look at your designs po?
Yes, please just search Buji Royal.
Royal.
Yeah, architecture and design. So we have our Facebook account, we have our IG, we are on the social media, we have our website. You can search me, Royal Pineda, it will all come out. Modern Philippines, you can search Modern Philippines, it will come out because again, this is something that's happening, no, Janet and King. Before, when we talk about Filipino design, people think it's Baduy, no? But now I tell you that the big change is that even the high end or the high end clientele, the luxurious clientele that we cater to, no? Before they're looking for modern Balinese, or they want a Balinese design, they want a Thai design, a tropical design. I mean, that's what they're looking for. But now they're looking for modern Filipino architecture and design. This is what I'm saying. If we love what we do, if we love ourselves, our country, our nationality, our sensibility, we can bring this sensibility out there, but first we have to refine it. We cannot, it's like a gift, no, King and Janet, it's like a gift. You cannot give a gift to the world without even choosing the perfect gift or wrapping it nicely. No? You cannot offer that to the world if it's not properly done. So what I'm saying is, as Filipinos, let us refine ourselves. Let us be better Filipinos. Let us be modern Filipinos. And after that, we can now offer ourselves to the world to say we are now the great partners of the world. We are one of the best partners of the world. We are not anymore workers. I don't see you guys as OFW. I see you as OFP, Overseas Filipino Partners. No? You are partners of the world. We are partners of the world. That means we are the great collaborators of the world now. It's not limited to just being a worker.
Yes, we are partners po. Talagang napakaganda niyan. We are working together, collaborating together. At isa ang PACE PH, in behalf of PACE PH, kasi yung pangalan ng grupo natin is Clean Election, parang political. Pero actually, it's not about just clean elections. PACE PH is more of empowering our citizenry. Hindi lang po ito yung hybrid election system. Hindi lang po yan about that. It's more of ikindle natin yung fire for patriotism, love of country, yung sinasabi ni Royal Architect Royal Pineda na yung mindset natin, paano natin i-empower yung mga tao, mag-transform yung ating mindset. Kami dito mga OFW siguro masabi natin na dito na-expose kami sa ibang sa culture and government ng ibang bansa, and we have transform our mindset in a way na paano kami nakikita dito na bakit ganito dito sa labas, pwede naman sa Pilipinas. Pero yun ang sinasabi ni Architect ni Dan na pwede sa Pilipinas. Pwede ang pagbabago sa Pilipinas. Hindi lang galing sa mga sa labas, kundi doon mismo sa Pilipinas, pwedeng ma-conceive yung pagbabago na sinasabi natin at pwede itong pwede natin gawin ito sa loob ng bansa, not just in the field of architecture, kundi po sa pag-iisip, yung sinasabi ni architect nga na mindset, yung transformed mindset natin na maging modern Filipinos tayo. Di ba po? So, yan, Architect Royal Pineda, you are such an inspiration to us, and your work talagang we are so proud of it. Yun po, yan, parang tayong guest coming, si Attorney Glenn Chong. I don't know if you know him, Architect Royal.
Hi, Glenn, no? Glenn?
Attorney Glenn Chong.
Yes, Attorney Chong. Okay, yes. Thank you.
Sige. Attorney Glenn, you want to speak to Architect Royal Pineda po ang ating guest today.
Okay, before magsalita si Attorney Glenn, Architect Royal, si Attorney Glenn Chong po ay isa po sa ating judge dito sa ating global awarding nitong mga OFWs and sa lahat ng mga Pilipino na itong ang prestigious award ng mga modern heroes. So yes, Attorney Glenn Chong.
King, kanina pa ako nag-antay ng link. Hindi mo ako pinadalhan. So, sinubukan na lang namin yung link kagabi. So, kaya kami nakapasok. Hi, sir. How are you?
Hello.
Kumusta po kayo?
Mabuti. Nice to meet you.
Okay, sir. Natapos na po ba kayong interview nitong dalawang judge na ito?
Well, we're still in the middle of it, I believe. It's just getting started. It's a nice conversation. No?
Yeah, just continue muna, King and Ate Janet, and I'll ask questions.
Okay, no. So I'll continue with my So yun, doon natin makikita na hindi nagkamali yung taong nag-nominate kay Architect Royal Pineda. Bakit? Dahil masasabi natin siya, he is one of the modern heroes ngayon dahil siya yung nagbago ng konsepto ng ideas ng would say itong tinatawag natin na architecture and design. So dahil sa kanya, ginamit siya ng Panginoong Diyos and sa kanyang skills, sa kanyang talent, nakilala ang Pilipinas na na yun nga, sabi nga niya, hindi lang laging Balinese ang design, it's not more on laging Swedish na mga designs or European design or Italian design. So dahil kay Architect Royal Pineda, nagkaroon ang Pilipinas na yung tinatawag na modern Filipino design. And masasabi ko rin sa inyo na dito sa United Arab Emirates, actually si Architect Royal Pineda, meron silang ongoing na project dito, yung tinatawag na Philippine Pavilion, na yan yung para sa Expo 2020 sana. So kung makita nyo how, I would say, how proud I am na kung alam ko matapos man yun siya, sabi mo, Pilipino ako, ito yung gawa namin. Mas maganda siguro ang gawa namin kaysa sa inyong bahay. Dahil ganun kaganda eh. So that's why I'm very proud of this guy na nakita ko na talagang binago niya ang landas ng Pilipinas when it comes to architecture and design. So yes, Architect Royal.
Yeah. Can I just add to what you have mentioned? No? Yun na, no, we are doing, as part of what we are doing is itong Bangkota. We call it Bangkota. No? The Philippine Pavilion for the World Expo 2021. No? It's supposed to be 2020 this year, but then it was moved, no, for next year. It is the first time and it's the biggest pavilion that the country ever have done and hosted in the entire history of the Philippine Expos, no, participation. And again, this is the expo of, this is basically the Olympics of all expos, no, because this is 92, 96 countries who are participating here. And in a way, this is really where everybody showcases all their, you know, country and what about the country and what is the people. I mean, everything that they can talk about their nation. No? And that's why we have the Eiffel Tower. No, it's part of the exposition long time ago, but now it's being hosted by Dubai, which is going to be the biggest also. No, it's almost 600 hectares. All happening and be finished by next year. No? Now, why am I very proud of it to share it with every Filipinos? It's because it's also the first time that a bidding or a winning design came from a philosophy of architectural. No? And this is the philosophy that I've always been trying to say, which is also the foundation of my designs, no? That I am a naturalist and I am a modernist. I believe in the nature of the Philippines. I have three philosophies that I will be featuring in this World Expo, which is nature is peace, man is nature, like man and nature. I don't believe in man and nature anymore. I believe that man is nature, no? There is no separation. Nature is peace because I believe nature will always dream and provide us goodness. Nature is the greatest creation of God, and I don't believe that our God will want us to be condemned. No? There is no such thing. And then the third is the variety of the world, no? Wherein I believe that each of us, we don't need to compete, no? Filipinos, French, Italian, Japanese. I mean, the world is one. And that variety of the world, this is where I'm coming from when I said that every people in every country, we are all placed in the Philippines, in France for the French, Italians in Italy, Filipinos in the Philippines. Now, what do you do? My point is, as Filipinos, you cannot try to be Italian. You cannot try to be French. You cannot try to be American. The point here is, as a modern Filipino, you have to evolve as a Filipino. And that is the freedom that I'm sharing with everyone, because when I was doing architecture, Attorney Glenn, Janet, and King, I just want to share with you the challenges that I have to go through, no? because to somehow present to you what my contribution is, it wasn't easy to define modern Filipino architecture and design, no, and to change that mindset because we're in a culture of copying. No, Filipinos loves to copy eh. No, we love to copy. Nakakita tayo ng Mediterranean design. Uy, kopyahin mo yan. Lahat ng kapitbahay mo Mediterranean design na. No? Pare-parehas na design. Nakakita ng isang design. Uy, mukhang Balinese, mukhang from Indonesia. Ang ganda. Kinopya na, magkakamukha na sila. There is that bondage long time ago and up to the present that we are a confused nation. And that is also happening in architecture. There's a lot of architects out there na pag tinanong mo, is there a Filipino architecture? Hindi kanila masasagot. Tititigan kanila and they will not answer you. And if they try to answer you, you will have a big question mark in your head. And that was also my dilemma. In the past years of my career, my dilemma was, I don't want to be another architect or another Filipino who cannot even say that there was a Filipino architecture or there is a present one. I needed to engage into that problem. I needed to solve that problem, and I did. Because I cannot claim to create a modern Filipino sensibility, a modern Filipino architecture and design, if I don't even know that there is Filipino. Ibig sabihin, you cannot progress into Model 1 to Model 2, Model 3 if you don't even understand Model 1. So, after understanding that there is such a thing, a Filipino architecture, I have to create a mindset because I don't want this to be a style. No? What I'm doing is not a style. It's not a trend. It's not a look. But what I'm trying to transform through architecture and design, this is beyond my architecture. This is beyond seeing a building. This is beyond seeing an interior. What I'm trying to show that when people see my architecture and when people see my interiors, my product design, my fashion design, everything that I design, it needs to become an emblem of the future mind of the Filipinos. It should somehow resonate the freedom of the Filipinos. And that's why when I brought the Philippine Pavilion in Dubai, it's the first to be presented as modern. No, it's not the typical Glenn and Janet and King, yung typical na merong tinikling, no, yung parang laging may tribal, no, laging iniwasan namin yun, no. What we are presenting now is when I presented that, what I want the world to see is this is who we are now, this is what we are now, and we are ready to partner with the world. We are not anymore a museum piece na ilalagay mo sa museum and mukha kang naka-estante ka lang doon, no? You are supposed to be a Filipino that if I'm a foreigner, when they see the pavilion, when they see the whole expression of the pavilion, they will say, look at how the Filipinos think today. I would love to bring them to France. I would love to bring them to Italy and collaborate with them for a project. And this is not superficial. I'm sharing these ideas to you because we experience it. We've done houses in France. We've done houses in Singapore, in America, in Israel. We've done projects all over the world. And I am not bringing a bahay kubo there, no? Hindi ko sila tinatayuan ng bahay kubo. Ang ginagawa ko is I'm bringing the modern Filipino sensibility. It's that sensibility that makes a new French house different. Dahil yung Pilipino may ingredient na dala eh. And walang ibang may dala nito kundi yung Pilipino lang. Let's import those Filipinos, bring them to France. And you know what those French neighbors said when we hosted the dinner in that house that we built? Sabi nila, We never expected that a French house can be like this. That makes us think that we might have to hire a modern Filipino architect to work with our French architect to come up with something like this. It becomes a plus. We Filipinos become a plus. We are not a liability. We are an asset to the world. So this is what I'm trying to say to all the Filipinos out there. You are a plus. You are not a negative. No, we should always bring, and this is all about the nature of the Philippines. Take note, ang Filipino, we bring extra mileage. Kung trabaho mo, clerk ka lang, minsan nagtitimpla ka pa ng kape, naggagawa ka pa ng hindi mo na trabaho, di ba? I mean,
may value added.
May value added eh. So, we are a plus to the world. We are a value that we constantly put on and put an extra. And I think the world will appreciate this in the World Expo because, again, they will see that we're out there to do business.
Architect, actually, I was there in Dubai, and I know that it's Expo 2020. I did not know that it was pushed to 2021. And I know that you're the one making the Philippine Pavilion. I'm sure we'll really be very proud of the Philippine Pavilion when we see it. Now, you know, ang nakikita ko sa inyo is that you are the embodiment of creativity, of Filipino creativity that is not only shackled by yung sinabi mong museum pieces, but one that is forward-looking, a modern Filipino with so much creativity. Imagine, I can imagine what a French house would look like, littered with Filipino sensibilities and Filipino designs and creativity. Hindi ko pa nakita yun, but I hope I can see one.
Imagine, di ba? It
really make us very proud.
Di ba?
You know, Royal, you make us very proud.
Sorry?
You really make us very proud as Filipinos.
Thank you so much. But Glenn, take note. I just love what you said. You know, when you said, I don't know how it looks like. Right? I mean,
I was imagining.
That is what we are gonna present constantly to the world. That is why modernity is betterment. You can never say it's better if you've seen it before, correct?
Yeah. Because I was really imagining, while you were talking, my mind was really imagining how would a French house look like with littered with Filipino sensibilities and designs, and how would a Mediterranean house look like with Filipino sensibilities? I'm really excited to see one.
Yes. So this is what we want the world to also feel, Glenn, in a way na this is the Filipinos' promise to the world. That
our contribution.
Yes, it's our gift
our
to
contribution.
It's
our
gift.
contribution to the world.
Yes, this is our gift to the world. And in fact, we call it in the Dubai Expo, we call it the Filipinos' gift to the world. The three, again, as I said, it's the first time, and I'm so blessed and lucky and very happy that imagine my personal philosophy is now being hosted by the Philippine Pavilion, and it's not cheap, no? To be able to present this to the world. And you know, one of the great blessings was when the Dubai World Expo created another event for the whole participants. Again, these participants of all the nations, we had a talk. It was the Netherlands, Brazil, and the Philippines. Three of us were invited to present our pavilion designs to the world, okay? And I presented ours. The two presented, they're also beautiful. That's one of those varieties of the world. But they were talking about sustainability and so on and so forth. So they're talking of technology. But when I talk about ours, I was talking about the nature of the Filipinos.
You know, I agree with you. Royal, I agree with you. Yung sinabi mo kanina that man is nature. We are part of nature. I believe that.
Yeah.
We are part of nature. Nature is not complete without humans. We are an integral part of the whole scheme of nature in this planet. I agree with you.
And that's beautiful, Glenn, because the reason why I'm sharing this philosophy, because it will change humanity. Believing in the three philosophies, believing that nature will always be peaceful, that means with all our efforts to do green architecture, sustainability efforts, all of this is anchored to how you see nature itself. If you see nature as a peace-loving element, you will always react peacefully with it. You know,
you follow.
Then I moved to the next, wherein nature, man is nature. The reason why I needed to do this and define this, because I was in battle myself when I was doing architecture in my design. Whenever there's a tree, there's a land, I have to cut them, I have to take them out, just because I was glorifying my own architecture. But it should not be. I should glorify myself and nature because I'm one with it. So when I started to believe that there is no such thing as man and nature, because the word end is actually an effort to put it together. Correct?
Yes.
It is a word that is trying to put two elements into one.
Parang dalawang separate elements, dalawang independent elements. You're trying to put them and merge them together as one. That's why you use the conjunctive and. But correct me if I got it. I got you right. It should be is.
Hello, Glenn.
Hello, Royal.
Can you repeat that, please? We lost you.
Okay. I thought. Okay, ganito. You have there are two independent things. One is nature, the other is man. We use the conjunctive and to merge them together. That's a vain attempt to merge them together. But I think the proper term to use is because man is part of nature. And they're actually one, and we are part of that one thing, not two separate things.
Yeah. Exactly, and that makes the mindset of every man. Again, this is not limited to the Filipinos. That changes every perception of man. That if you believe that man is nature, you will respect nature the same way you respect yourself. You know, so now when I'm designing, before I even cut a tree, I try to think of it like, will I cut my arm? You will not do it because you see it as you. So that is the second. But now the third is the variety of the world. The third philosophy that I have to present globally, because I don't believe in competition. As I said, I brought the Philippine Pavilion, I brought it there to present the nature of the Philippines. I am not there to tell the world that I am a better variety. I'm not. I am not there to compete. But I will make sure that when I present the nature of the Philippines, I'm going to present it to the best way I can. And that is what's going to happen in Dubai. And that is when the world will see.
I'll go to Dubai.
Hindi na pala sila, wala na silang dalang
Royal,
tibag. Hindi na.
Puntahan ko talaga yung pavilion mo dyan sa 2021.
Yes, please.
Pag wala na.
If I tour you myself, itutour kita. I'll tour you.
Hahanapin talaga kita. Ito naman si King. Hahanapin talaga kita.
I'd like to tour.
2021 pa naman yun. Okay lang. Basta wala nang COVID. Sana wala na. I would love to see I really love to see the pavilion you have made. As much as I would love to see more of your works of art. Diba? Architecture is art.
Yes. And you know, King, Janet, and of course Glenn, I am feeling very blessed because my skill my passion is architecture, and God taught me to do this, no? And this is what Janet was talking about purpose. And this purpose is, for me, it's grotesque, no? It's grand. When I say grand, I find it impactful, no? Because the best way to express the status of a nation is through architecture and infrastructure. You know, we can talk about, yeah, we can talk about policies and political
Royal, policies are abstract principles, abstract ideas. You don't see them. You may feel that you don't see them, but architecture and infrastructure, that's what we see. Yun yung physical embodiment of our ideals, and you're right at the center of that.
So, and I thank you that you're agreeing with me, because for me, up to the simplest Juan de la Cruz, mararamdaman niya na yung nagbago yung airport, nagkaroon ng bagong magandang tulay, hindi mukhang World War II yung tulay, no? Bago na, nakadesign na, no? Bago na yung airport, maganda ng bumiyahe, maybe after the pandemic, but meaning to say, kahit yung pinakasimpleng Juan de la Cruz na hindi mo kailangan maging matalino, na makita mo na yung pedestrian walkways mo ngayon, yung BRT stations mo ngayon ay gumagana because of a creative architectural and design mind of the Filipinos. Again, this is not limited to me. That's why I keep sharing this talk. I keep talking in Singapore, in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, in America, in Singapore. I keep talking about it because I want to create and give freedom to modern Filipino architects to keep dreaming for our nation. And then the country will be better.
Yeah.
Then we will be...
Royal, excuse me, I'd like to take from where yung sinabi mo kanina about when the ordinary Filipino sees a public infrastructure na maganda. Actually, may epekto yan sa ating national psyche as an individual at yung buong collective psyche natin na nakikita natin yung gumaganda yung airport natin, gumaganda yung mga puerto natin, yung mga public facilities natin. May epekto yan sa ating national psyche at sa individual natin. We would love to do more and be more productive, and the country could move faster and move forward. Pag nakikita natin ito, pero nga lang po, ito lang po talaga ang problema natin. Pag nagsimula ka po maglagay ng mga work of art sa kalsada, especially in depressed areas, bukas wala na po, ninanakaw na po nila yun. Whereas pag nilagay mo po yan doon sa Forbes Park at sa Makati, of course nakikita mo yun. Kaya nga you know, I'm just sharing you these things. Well, when you go to Makati, okay, in Fort Bonifacio, you're like in a foreign country because the public art or public infrastructures are taken care of nandoon, hindi nawawala. Pero pag nilagay mo yan sa mga depressed areas, bukas wala na yan. Kahit yung bridge, yung metal ng bridge, yung brace ng metal ng bridge, nawawala. Pinatitimbang, pinagkikitaan, Diyos ko. That's why we need, and there's a lot of problem for this country, but I'm happy to hear that there's someone who's exerting all efforts to put the best out to the world, the best of the Filipino, yung mindset natin, as expressed in architecture.
And just to mention it, kasi kanina when we were talking ni King and ni Janet, I mentioned about coining and defining this particular concept that I created for the Philippines. No? Even before I started doing projects for the government, I needed to coin and create this concept. I call it practical luxury. No? And that practical luxury is what I've been saying to myself because I came from a public school system of education.
Pareho naman tayo. Pareho naman tayo. Public school system din naman ako galing. I'm sure itong dalawa galing din ito sa public school system.
So sila, baka galing sila sa mga very expensive schools, si Janet and si King. No?
Public school din ako.
Public din.
I think it's also public. Oh, tayong apat, we're all the product of public school system.
So I think everybody can relate to the thing that I'm saying. Now, when I started to dream for a modern Philippines, I needed to create an avenue, a road towards my dream. And as an architect, I cannot keep saying, I dream of modern Philippines, and you don't know how to get there. I have to create an avenue. And when I created Practical Luxury, I said to myself, I can translate, I can transform and create projects for the government and even for my private practice. Designs that does not require me to be first world to experience luxury. Because I cannot wait. Sorry, I'm impatient. I cannot wait for the Philippines to be first world to say that we deserve to live in luxury. I don't believe in that. I believe that with my creativity, I can transform the airport to a decent and beautiful airport, and it's a modern Filipino airport with the same budget, even faster. We are able to even finish it faster. We're even able to finish the new Clark City faster with the same budget, but then it became the top 10 stadia of the world, competing to Japan, which is the Olympic Stadium. But take note, the budget is the same. It's the same. The point here is that do not make it an excuse that the limitation of a third world country means you have to compromise the luxury that you deserve. The Filipinos should be assertive. We should assert ourselves and tell the world, you deserve that, I deserve this. But this is how we do it in the Philippines. We don't need, as Janet mentioned, and I would like to amplify, because I believe that we can all see the global standards, the best practices of the world, yes. But it doesn't mean the best and global standards are always the best for our country.
Yes.
Why not think that the best of the Philippines can be the best of the world too?
Yes,
That
that's correct.
I would like to leave with our audiences and the Filipinos out there. That I think it's a matter of believing in yourself, and then the conviction, happens. And these philosophies are my foundations. That's why I can speak to you my desires and my dreams, because I know I can do it.
Attorney Glenn, ito yung slot mo na magtanong.
Ha? What? Pardon?
Ito yung time mo na magbigay ng tanong kay Architect Royal.
Sige, mauna ka. Okay.
Okay, no? So, it's very clear na makita natin na hindi nagkamali yung taong nag-nominate kay Architect Royal. So, uulitin ko na itong sa mga late ngayon, dahil marami ngayong naka-live ngayon, na umabot na tayo ng 100 shares pa lang yan. So, dito natin makikita na gusto kong i-emphasize itong People's Alliance for Clean Election. It's not just nakafocus sa election. So, itong isa sa programa natin, itong Global Inang Bayan Bayani Award, ito yung sinasabi ko kay Architect Royal. Ang kaibahan nito, Attorney Glenn, sabi ko nga sa kanya, na a lot of organization na nagbibigay ng mga prestige award, they talk on success lang sa isang individual. Pero yun nga kanina, before ka pumasok, yun yung pinag-usapan namin na tinanong ko si Architect Royal kung ano yung mga challenges or mga failures na meron siya sa buhay niya, bakit siya umabot sa level na yan. Dahil yan yung kailangan natin mga Pilipino Dahil kung iti-take mo yung experience ni Architect Royal or yung challenge niya, hindi mo na kailangang ma-experience yun siya para maging successful din sa kanya. So you will take a lot of siguro lesson sa kanyang challenge na dumating sa kanyang company. And then my question dito, pangatlong question ko, Architect Royal, sa tingin mo, bakit ikaw ang napili ng isang tao na to na out of, would say, 100 of his friends or 1,000 of his friends, ikaw yung na-nominate niya? Why? Sa tingin mo lang, hindi mo kasi kilala yan, hindi rin namin pwedeng sabihin, but why? Why you shine like a diamond sa lahat ng ano?
You know, it's almost similar to what people constantly ask from me, no? And I would like to address it the same way. Ang question nila sa akin, why do you think that the government wants to work with you? No? And how did you get all these projects? How did you manage to get to do the airport of Cebu, the airport of Clark, the whole city of Clark, the bridge of Clark, you know, and the vision for Bangkota, for the World Expo, and then the Luz Biminda project, which is, I would like to just mention it to you, that's my vision, to connect the entire country with the 3 major bridges. That's why I called it Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao bridges, which is Luz Biminda project, and to connect the country with many small bridges. No, they're asking what makes you different, what makes you that. No? As you mentioned, what makes you shine. You know, to be honest with you, the only thing that somehow affirms that idea to me is because I am always trying to be authentic. I try to be authentic as a Filipino. I try to be myself as a Filipino. I try to embrace myself as a Filipino. I try to make myself better as a Filipino. I speak of myself as a Filipino, and I will always be present and an emblem of Filipinos. That was my feeling constantly with my past projects, my past encounters with people. And up to now, you know, I never changed a single thing. I am not after any award. I'm not after any recognition. But I think that authenticity of that dream and that sincerity of dreaming kept me doing what I need to do. You see, that the good thing of having a clear vision is that you get to have a clear north point. No? There's a north point. There's a clear direction for you where you want to go. And that made me think constantly that I don't want to delay where I'm going. So I'm constantly towards that. I see a lot of distractions. I see a lot of trends. There are good Italian designs. There are Mediterranean designs. There are many designs. I see them all happening around me. But then I have engaged myself. I'm committed that I'm going to go modern Filipino architecture and design. So I will not change that course. I will always be in that course. But I will see the best of the worlds, find that's there. But I will always be faithful to who I am and what I am as a Filipino. And I think that's one thing that the government, you know, saw in us, you know. Because if you look at the government's real mandate is simple. This is, again, this is a natural event. It's the nature of things. I am not forcing anyone to like me. I am not forcing anyone to award things to me. It's the nature of things, because the nature of the government is I, as a government, should be the advocate of what is Filipino. So if you're the government and you're going to build a bridge, you're going to build an airport, you're going to build a new city, what do you need to do? You have to get a guy who is Filipino and a guy who loves his country, a guy who loves designing his country, a guy who will progress the country, and that starts to become the terms of reference of the need. The same thing when you guys, I didn't know you guys from before. I didn't know, I'm not familiar to the whole organization, and I'm very thankful that you are there. But the fact that your mandate, as you said, your dreams also and your intention of bettering the Philippines is your nature, correct? So all these great forces just comes together. They come together, and
They fall in place.
yes, you happen to see me as somebody who can help put together your dreams too. And at the same time, it helps me too in putting my dreams together. We are in a common goal. What we have is a common vision. And that, I think, what makes things shine. It doesn't make me shine alone. It will all make us shine if it's like sand and shells in the beach. If you want to get the shells, you'll pick up the shells. You will not pick up the rocks. So I think that's the way to do it. I think authenticity is the key, and people will feel you if you are not, you don't have the conviction of what you're talking about.
Yes, I think Attorney Glenn Chong na, ikaw kung mayroon kang question.
You know, I was listening to Royal since kanina pa, and I can feel his passion. I can feel his very authentic Filipino. I am more than convinced. Wala na talaga akong saling itatanong sa kanya. Ayaw kong pahirapan yung taong naniniwala ako. O totoo. Ayaw kong pahirapan yung taong naniniwala ako. I can feel his passion. Kanina pa ako nakikinig sa kanya. He was talking like para namang yung passion mo, Royal, is infectious. Oh, I can feel you. What you want is to project the best of the Filipino, na yung authentic na atin talaga, hindi yung kinopya natin sa iba, because it also helps us define who we are. Not only today, but far into the future. Because as a Filipino, we remain a Filipino. Hindi tayo pwedeng maging German, hindi tayo pwedeng maging American. We have our own identity, we have our own culture, and that's what we should nurture, because we are unique. We are unique in the sense na ito yung culture natin, although we are part of the greater mass of humanity that is part of nature. Yun. Kaya ako, ayoko na magtanong kay Royal because believe ako sa kanya, naniniwala ako sa kanya. I'm with you, brother. I'm really with you.
Well, I'm very happy that I got things through. Like I always try to share this because I want to live it. You know, when you talk about purpose, my only purpose is to keep leaving these thoughts on the table. I just with my relationship with God, I always tell him that please God, just give me the strength to leave it in the room. Leave all your ideas that you gave me. Let me leave it in the room, and I'll let you take care of things. So my attitude here is I just need to get it all out. Express what I feel and what I really believe in. And I believe that somebody out there, I mean, and I'm so glad that, Glenn, you're there, and Janet and Kim. And
somebody out there, the bigger somebody out there, if I will cut you, Royal, is the God we both believe in. The God we all believe in. That's another thing I like of you. I really like you, brother.
Thank you.
Because you put God above everything else, diba? We should learn to put God above everything else. We can do what we can, but leave all the rest to God. God will do the rest for us.
You know what I call God personally? I call him my one button God. I press the button. I choose him because there's only two in this world, Glenn, Janet, and King. There's only two. When this is again, I'm sharing something very personal, but I hope you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I've been trying to struggle about the concept of sin, right? I mean, the concept of what's right and wrong. And even if I would say I have studied and I've tried to learn the concept of sin, you know what, it brought me to a very simple answer, you know, and I would like to share this with you. I called him one button God because the concept of sin is simple. It's God and me, okay? So God and self. Sin starts when I start to choose myself. But whenever I choose God, the rest is His plans. The rest is His to take. I don't regret, whatever happens in my life, as long as I push the button, I don't push the self, I push the God, and the rest happens. The rest flows. You know, I think that is where we will all feel the peace that we are all looking for and the conviction that we are wanting to express to everyone.
Mayroon kang last question, Judge Janet?
Thank you so much for your time, Architect Royal Pineda. Ang ating saludo kami sa iyo, kababayan, sa iyong paging dakilang bayani ng ating inang bayan at isang inspirasyon sa ating henerasyon. And in behalf of PACE PH, naniniwala kami na marami sa ating mga kabayan sa loob, hindi lamang sa labas ng bansa, ang talagang mag-shine dito sa iba-ibang mga industry natin, hindi lang sa mga OFW, sa field mga sa architecture, ang ating hangad lang naman is isa lang, di ba? Yung better Philippines na sinasabi natin at that comes out from you. Yes, thank you so much at yun nga, press the button lang po tayo. Sunod lang tayo sa nature. Kasi yung nature talaga, there's nothing wrong. Hindi tayo makakamali dyan di ba? Kapag nag-press tayo doon sa yung nature. May peace palagi.
Because take note, nature is the best expression of God.
Yes.
Yes. Nature is the handiwork of God. Nature is the handiwork of God. We are part of the nature. You know, Royal, if I may add, just for the end, I know a lot of people who are very successful in life, but they never mention God. You're one unique person. You're very successful sa career mo, sa buhay mo, but you never fail to mention God. I thank you for that.
Thank you. All of these things are actually temporary, you know.
Pareho tayo ng paniniwala, brother. Pareho talaga tayo ng paniniwala. All that we have here are all temporary. There's a better life after this one. And that's what we should prepare.
I'm investing on the next life.
Pareho talaga tayo. I'm investing also on the next life because that is everlasting. This one is temporary. Kaya po sa mga nanonood po sa atin, it pays to be on the side of God. Even if we have doubts about God, what if God is true? Anong gagawin natin pag nandoon na tayo, nasa harap na tayo? We cannot say to God, pwede po bang mag-replay muna? Wala pong replay. No, you cannot replay. That is why, take it from Architect Royal Pineda and from me, and si Ate Janet, si King. It is best to get an insurance for the afterlife. We do good works here on earth para sigurado tayong may insurance tayo pagdating doon. Kasi kung puro po tayo mga evil dito, pagdating po natin doon, wala po tayong patutungan kundi sa apoy. So,
I believe in that.
So I really thank you, Architect Royal Pineda. I thank you not only for your heroism in everyday life, giving hope, giving an example of, helping our identity as a nation. Malaking tulong po yun sa atin. I thank you for your, sabi ko nga, heroism every day. Kasi nandyan yan araw-araw Hindi ka lang naman hero for one day. You're hero for all your life because of what you believed in and for what you want to contribute to our country. So sana po, mga kababayan po natin, we take example. Nakikita po natin si Architect Royal Pineda is very successful sa buhay. Yet, hindi naman niya iniwan yung bansa niya in everyday sa buhay niya. He keeps on reinforcing his core beliefs about the Filipinos, ating kakayahan. So one day, of course, itong mga ginagawa niya will also, makikita natin yan. May epekto yan, whether subtle or right then and there. But yan, ginagawa niya yan because he's a Filipino. And his heart is for us, for all of us. So tayong lahat sana, we will take example from him and all the other nominees here na gawin natin ang kaya natin para sa ating bansa. Para sa ating bansa. Because yung ginagawa natin para sa ating bansa, para sa ating kapwa, it's an investment for the afterlife. Tandaan po ninyo yan, investment yan. Pagdating natin doon, meron tayong masasabi kay Lord na, ito nagawa namin para sa kapwa namin. Hindi naman lahat na magbibigay ka ng ayuda, ganito, ganyan. There are many ways to help our country. And architecture, the way Royal does his work, his passion, is a contribution enough for our country, for our people. Sir, thank you so much.
Okay, so sa pang-ending na, sa katapusan, so bigyan natin na si Architect Royal Pineda na siya yung mag-closing dahil naghintay na rin yung nominee natin from Shanghai, China. So Architect Royal Pineda, ano ang mensahe mo sa Pilipinas, sa ating bayan, sa ating inang bayan, lalo na nasa gitna tayo ng pandemic? And of course, sa mga bumubuo ng People's Alliance for Clean Election, mostly nasa 30 countries kami, mga leaders. Ano ang mensahe mo as I would say, a dreamer, a visionary sa architecture and design? Ano ang pangarap mo? For example, sa more pa sa Pilipinas and for us, mga OFWs.
Well, I have a very simple and clear dream for the country, which I always talk about, which is a modern Philippines. No, and the modern Philippines is not just about the physical Philippines, but it's really about the people. No, it's really about us, all of us, and this dream, I always try to emphasize that all of us, lahat tayo, lahat ng Pilipino sa buong mundo, not just the Filipinos here in the Philippines, but lahat tayo, especially the guys, you guys out there, let's keep dreaming. No, I believe that dreaming is something very important. It's the drive, it's the force that will keep us moving forward. No? I always say it, let us dream, let us discover, and let us evolve. No? When I say discover, I feel that even with the pandemic, even with the new challenges that will come to our lives, there will always be a discovery. There will always be something great, something positive. And as I said, our God is so good that He will not do something that is bad. You know, in everything that's happening in our lives as people, as man, it's about purity. It's about the purification. It's about process of being a finer human. You know, it's about being a better person. It's about being a better country. So we have to embrace discovery. And that's the only time when we start to dream and discover, we can now evolve. Because people ask me, Royal, if you're doing modernity, you are abandoning the roots of what's Filipino, which I disagree. The reason why I am doing modernity is because I want to celebrate the Filipino in me. Because I want to be a progressive Filipino. Sabi ko nga, sa lahat, especially in the architectural industry, if Filipino architecture before was bahay kubo, hindi ko pwedeng at this moment in my life, bahay kubo pa rin ang design ko sa bahay ng Pilipino. Dapat ang design ko ngayon sa bahay ng Pilipino is a modern, progressive, dignified, and something that will represent efficiency and betterment that makes him global. No? Because take note, yung bahay kubo na ginawa ni Juan de la Cruz noon, hindi naman siya arkitekto noon. No? Si Juan de la Cruz, ginawa niya yon. The bahay kubo was designed and built with truthfulness. It was truthful that the kawayan was libre, the pawid was libre, ang technology niya was kamay, kinamay niya yon, kinrabaho niya yon. Naging silhouette niya yung bahay kubo, naging manifestation. It became a manifestation of who we are during that time. Again, take note, it was who we are during that time. I want the chain of history to be not broken or not stopped there. I want to contribute during my time that I have created a modern Filipino architecture of my time, 2020. That the Filipinos, when the future Filipinos look at the chain of history of our time, hindi ko inulit yung ginawa ng lolo ko. Instead, ginawa kong better yung mga ginawa ng ancestors ko. That celebrates Filipino-ness. That celebrates who we are as a Filipino. And that guides the future generation in doing their part also as a modern Filipino. So, I would love to amplify that to everyone and leave that message to everyone that to dream is something that we can always do. It's free and it's nice to dream, but the will to act is also important. So let's do it. Let's try to put our hands together. Let's do the modern bayanihan. And this is the modern bayanihan. We are all together in a Zoom. You know, this is the modern Philippines. We are not anymore snail mail, you know. Otherwise, ilang taon to bago matapos yung award nyo. No? But again, let us all be united and let's do the modern bayanihan and let's live a life that is modern Philippines.
Thank you so much, Architect Royal Pineda, for joining us, and see you in the finals, Architect Royal Pineda. God bless you, and marami pang blessing ka pa. God bless you. God bless you.
Thanks, Janet, and thanks, Glenn, for being
Thank you, Architect Onet, Coronel. Yan yung support na team ni Architect Royal Pineda. God bless
Thank you for having all these facilities. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you very much, Architect.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Nice meeting you po.
Bye.
King. Okay, so ngayon magkuyog na tanaa sila Lane in town.
So we're going to end our Facebook Live.
Okay, wala na tayo Facebook. O sige na sila Lane na.
Wait. Are we going to the next nominee?
Oh, nagulat into si Miss Lalene, mga taod-taod yun siya nagulat in town.
I need to go muna kasi need to work ha.
Sige.
Okay, wait. Give me a few minutes. You start na lang with Miss Lalene. Okay, you start na lang with Miss Lalene, and then I'll get.
Okay lang, King?
Okay lang. Okay lang kayo mag-live.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Glenn.
Ate Jan, stay safe at work.
Ito sa imong trabaho, gani sis. Karon taon na po no.
Karon siya mag-start. Ngayon.
Fair na.
Bye-bye. God bless you.
Thank you for joining us.
Salamat sa pagmata. Alas 5. Bye-bye.
Oo nga. Si Tita Yagit, she might be up already by now.
Okay, that's good.
King, I'll join you in a while.
Yes.
You know, obligatory break. Start mo na lang kay Ma'am Lalene.
Mag-start kami. Miss Lalene, ang camera po. Miss Lalene, medyo